something snatched me out of my body, full speed, 1,000 miles per hour. And it took me out of my body, and we went through the wall, and I'm going down this dark tunnel. And I said the name of Jesus Christ. I said his name, I don't know, 30, 40 times. And I'm looking up to the angel, and he said, "You need to see this."
This is God's Voice Daily, where ordinary people share the moment everything changed. They weren't looking for the supernatural, but it found them. Out-of-body experiences, encounters with darkness, visions of heaven, moments that felt more real than life itself. Every day, you'll hear raw, unfiltered calls from people around the world who can't explain what happened, only that it did. And no matter how wild their story sounds, each one points back to Jesus. If you've ever felt like there's more going on than what we can see, you're in the right place. And now, here's today's featured call. Enjoy.
Well, Ray Dale, I'm looking at what you sent my way, and looks like you were caught up by a burning coal-like angel, right? Shown levels beneath the earth, a red ocean, and even visions of hell where demons were tormenting people. So tell me more. What did you see?
Yeah, and feel free to just call me Ray.
Ray, sounds good. All right. Ray it is. And you can call me Vlad.
Well, okay, Vlad, I like it, man. You can't mess that up. Four letters.
That's
Can't
right.
mess that up. So before I had that one, I'll go back to 2023, maybe like August 2023, where, I was the type of Christian where I would always say my prayers. Like I would I would just say, as you lay me down to sleep, I pray you love my soul to keep. I would say that I thought that's what it meant to be a Christian, just kind of acknowledge Jesus Christ here and there, and say a prayer here and there, and then live how you want to live. So I wasn't living a Christian life. I had a pretty big problem with promiscuity, like having multiple women, which I now know is whoredom. That's a form of whoredom, and just having issues with pornography, having issues with lust, and not confessing these issues, just having the issue but not asking the Lord to help you with it. So I just got done, I went out and I just got done seeing a woman, and we went out and everything, and I got home real late, and I laid down, and something snatched me out of my body, like it's just like at full speed, maybe, I don't know, 1,000 miles per hour. But you can't compare it to anything in this flesh world. And it took me out of my body, and we went through the wall, which is my bathroom, straight through the wall, and I'm going down this dark tunnel. Now, I didn't feel any heat or anything, but I guess I've heard in your videos and all these other videos, it's like you have a sense of, you just know what's going on. Nobody has to tell you anything. So I could feel from this thing was pulling me, this spirit, I could feel that it was trying to get me to hell. It was trying to get me to hell as fast as possible, because maybe that's all the time it had. Maybe because I wasn't living right, and I wasn't trying to live right, and I was so comfortable. Satan, he gets you so comfortable, and you're seeing, he basically, like, Psalms 20:23, he prepares a table before you in the presence of your enemies. Well, Satan prepares you a table, and with a nice chair and everything you want to eat, and you don't want to give it up. And that's basically what happened, and I was stuck in that. But Christ is so good. Jesus Christ is so good. He'll take you out of that. He'll actually come get you. So what he did with me was basically with the 99 sheep and one's lost, he came and got me, and I thank him for that. So we're going down this dark tunnel, and I can just feel grabbed by my neck, and I can just see my bed, my room, everything gone. And I'm going to this spirit world, and I said the name of Jesus Christ. There's the salvation that's found in one day, Jesus Christ only. And I said his name. I said his name. I don't know, 30, 40 times. And bam, I woke up. And it was the scariest thing I ever been involved with, sir. It was just, I've never been taken out of my body like that. And then I ended up giving my life to Christ. I think that same month, I said, Lord, I said, Lord, please walk. I want to walk with you every day of my life. I felt him enter because I got very emotional, and I never been that emotional with Christ before. I never, it was just a prayer here and there, and I go about my business. This time I actually, felt totally different, felt anew, and be not conformed to this world, be transformed by renewing of your mind. Romans 12:2. So, and then since then, I've been on the evangelist journey. Quick story. When my mom was pregnant with my older sister, I'm the youngest. She was about 10 weeks pregnant, 15 weeks pregnant. She didn't know the gender. A woman came to her and said that you would have a son and he'll be an evangelist. We believe that woman was an angel. Well, fast forward, she finds out she's having a daughter. So she goes, oh, she didn't know what she was talking about. Well, then I came along. So all my life, my mom told me, she said, look, you were prophesied. The Lord told me that I would have you long before I knew I would have you. See, that's how good God is. See, man can say this and that, but when God sends his a message, it's only something he can do. So it's definitive. There's no way that you can confuse that with any kind of medium or someone that can read tarot cards or anything like that. God is infinite, and with his justice and his glory, and it was clear that came from him.
Wow. It kind of reminds me, I have an identical twin brother, copy paste. If you met one, you met the other. I mean, the same experience. He's a better half. He's much nicer. But it's interesting. We both come from, my whole family comes from Soviet Union. And when we were young, or before we were even born, come from a family of 9 kids. On the streets, they found this picture of twins. And everyone in the family really liked that picture, so they held on to it. And then some time passes, a year or so, and mom gets pregnant, we were born, and they take a picture in our living room, and it's the exact same picture that they found and brought in the house years ago. And so they started scrambling, trying to find, where did that picture go? And they couldn't find it. But it's interesting, the Lord revealed to my family, to my mom and dad, that they were going to have twins. It's interesting how he kind of, through people, through different things, kind of like they speak into our lives, and then years later, wow, look at you, you're doing God's work, and it was spoken to you by a complete stranger. That you believe that was an angel?
I do, just because how often does someone walk up to a woman who's already pregnant, who they didn't know, who's not showing yet, who they didn't know she was pregnant, and tell them and they already have 8 kids.
Wow. One out of 9. Oh, wow. I can
Yeah. Oh, I see. A big family.
Yeah.
Big, beautiful family. And man, woman, child is Christ.
Man.
Yeah. So we have some relations here. And who else could tell you that you're going to have a child? So far in the future. How no one else can, not even because you have mediums, you have tarot card readers and things like that, and they can't do that. And then so after that, sir, I started getting a lot of paralysis. I had one where I have a ceiling fan, so I'm a kind of person, I need to sleep when it's cool. I can't do it when it's hot.
Same here.
So I'm asleep, but I wake up, but I'm not in my body, and I'm like, I'm at the same rotation of the ceiling fan. And I know it may not sound scary now, but that was scary because I'm with the ceiling fan. Like I'm connected to it, and then every time I gotta pray and I go back in my body. I had another one where I was like suspended in the middle of the air, and I saw all these dark clouds and lightning and high winds. And I keep thinking about it every other day since it happened. And I almost felt like I was on Saturn or Jupiter because there was no ground. And it was just endless. It was so scary because it was just endless dark clouds, high wind, and lightning in a severe case of hopelessness. Like, who could get you out of this? It was like the abyss. Maybe it was like the abyss or the outer darkness. But the main one I had was the one I had in December. where I laid down, and I had small ones like I'll be paralyzed. My wife is laying next to me. I think I'm grabbing her to wake me up, and then when I do wake up, she's like, "No, you're just laying there." And those are kind of scary because there's always a chance you don't wake up. So I don't like those paralysis. But this one, I was on it's a paralysis or a dream or in between. I don't know, but it was so real. I was on a high mountain, but it was so foggy that I couldn't see the ground. So I'm walking, and then bam, I fall. And as I'm falling, I know I'm dead. I know there's no way you're gonna land. There's no way, even if you hit the water, it's so high, so far. Even if there is water to hit, and bam, something caught me. Something strong and something warm, and it said, "Don't move." But the voice was authoritative. It was a scary voice. It was not like a scary monster horror movie voice, but a voice of someone you wouldn't want to mess with, someone you wouldn't want to be on the wrong side with. And we hit the concrete, ground, dirt, whatever it was, went through it. And then I went through another level, and it just looked like a mountain area, but it's underground. Then I went to another level, and there was like trees and water and just regular looking lakes and stuff. But we're moving so fast. We're coming from the sky. So imagine someone coming from above us through the atmosphere, coming down to where we live at, on the ground, on the concrete, and going through it. So I'm going through these levels, but each level has like its own sky. And then bam, that's when I hit that red ocean. It is bright. I say about maroon red. I feel like it was blood. And when we're coming towards it from the sky, I told myself, let me try to breathe under this. I wonder if I could breathe under this. Because I don't really know if I'm in a spirit body or a body of flesh. I just wasn't sure. And as soon as we hit it, I tried to breathe. I kind of I breathed in, and it was like a nasty taste. It wasn't. It kind of tastes like blood, really. But it was an alarming taste. So we flew through that, and then bam, we come to this like stone area, this bunch of rocky, like a rocky dungeon. But it wasn't. Here's the whole kicker. It wasn't pitch black dark. There was light. Now I think the light came from the flames, but because I'm trying to compare my story with the stories I hear on your channel and other NDEs, and I could see everything. And it probably would have been better that I didn't see everything because there were these cells, these jail cells lined up one by one right next to each other. And they had people in them. And they were naked. And there was fire in the cell, but they weren't, from what I can remember, and Lord, forgive me if I don't say this correct, this happened in December. There was like fire in the cells, but I can't remember if they were in the fire or the fire was like next to them. But everybody was crying, and everybody, there was no conversations. Everybody was just scared, and you could feel the hopelessness in the air. The angel dropped me on the ground. He wouldn't let me look at him, but I could kind of see him from my peripheral vision, and he looked like burning coal. That's the best thing I can tell you. He looked like burning coal, and he wouldn't touch the ground. Now I've heard other videos and things like that because they're holy and who they are, they won't touch the ground, because I've heard this being a wicked world, the ruler of this world, 2 Corinthians 4:4, in whom the ruler of this world, and whom the God of this world have blinded the mind of them which believe not. This whole world is wicked, so they won't touch the ground. So I'm on the ground, and I'm looking up to the angel, and I'm like, why are you doing this? Why am I here? But I'm not talking like I'm talking now. I'm terrified. And he said, because you need to see this. He said, this is why I brought you here. I want you to see what's going on here. And I know you know this, but I want the world to know that hell is very, very real. It was, they're in these cells, and I remember seeing this big slab. If you ever seen MTV Cribs, you probably haven't. It's old. You're not missing nothing.
Oh, no, I've seen MTV Cribs when I moved to the United States.
Oh, you've seen it?
Yeah. I'm 38.
Okay.
So
Okay, gotcha. Same age.
Oh, so you're the same age? You're 38 as well?
I'm 38, yes.
Ah, that's awesome. Hey, before we get back to the episode, my father has a free gift for you. So let me explain. For those of you that don't know, my father was an underground minister in Kiev, Ukraine. My father risked his life preaching the gospel on the streets of Kiev, Ukraine at the time when it wasn't popular or allowed. And he also raised a family of 9 children in the most hostile environment. There's so many lessons that he learned throughout his journey. And for years, I've been begging him. I was saying, Father, please write a book about your life, about your journey. And he would always dismiss it as, who wants to read a book about my life? And I was like, my children, me. And so, you know what? Finally, he sat down, he wrote the book. He did it in like 1 week. I translated the book to English, and both of us, we want you to have this book for absolutely free. And the way to get this book is super simple. Go to Instagram, find me at God's Voice Today, and send me a private message with the word book. And I will automatically send you a link to get it. So go to Instagram, type God's Voice Today, find me. You can also write the word book on any of the posts, and you will receive the link in your inbox. And now, let's get back to the episode. Enjoy.
So, did you ever see the episode with Shaq? Shaq did it MTV Crib. This is like 20 years ago.
Yeah, I think I did actually. I think I do remember the Shaq.
Do you remember how big his bed was?
Yeah. I think I do remember now. Not thinking about it.
That bed was the bed I saw was probably even bigger than his bed because he had like a oversized California king. But then I think it was like King Og or someone in the Bible. His bed was like 3 meters long. Do you remember seeing that in the Bible?
Say it again. I'm sorry.
Do you remember seeing it in the Bible? I can't remember the book. I know it had to been maybe Joshua, in the book of Joshua. One of the giants that they slayed, his bed was 3 to 4 meters long.
Okay.
So his bed was like 10, 11, 12 feet long. And that's how big this bed was. And I can't remember if it was a male or a female, but they were chained to this bed and they were being tortured on the bed, assaulted by this big demon. But the angel or Christ won't let me fully remember how it was grotesque. I could tell you it was grotesque. But I could tell you it was big and it was grotesque. Those two things for sure. It was at the foot of the bed. They were at the head of the bed. This bed's like 10, 12 feet long, and it was causing a high level of fear. Like everything's fear. You know, even with what you hear, what goes on in Hollywood and all that stuff, how they try to scare people or scare the victim before they do something to them. I swear everything runs together because here they were really focused on scaring people. But obviously the torment is great because the punishment of not serving Christ is great. So it was doing stuff to this person, but then it would break off from them, and then all they could do was wait for it to happen again. And it was terrible. So it's definitely something below us. It's definitely something below us, and it's definitely consequences for the way we live.
You're the second caller today who called and testified about hell. And it's interesting, sometimes people make comments like, Vlad, why do you cover hell more than heaven? Well, because, I'm booked for the next 2-3 months, and a lot of the phone calls, people experience more hell than they do heaven. I mean, I try to take these phone calls as they come. And maybe God really wants us to know how real hell is. And we need to be reminded more than taught and not to go to that place. That this is not just some made up place. It's real, and there are people who are suffering there. And he does not want any one of us to go there.
I don't know why I've had so many bad paralysis experiences where a dark figure is standing over me and I can't move.
That happened to me. I was choking.
And all I could do was pray. Yeah, see, there you go. And all I could do was pray, and it ended. I wish I had some Oh, man, you just reminded me. Thank you. I think I may have written this on my form for your website. But I had two experiences where I think they were heaven, but you tell me. One was very quick. I remember seeing some very vibrant colors. The colors were so thick you could see them in the air. It was nothing like this. This is like some watered down stuff. Everything was beautiful, and there was like a beach, an ocean, people. I don't remember seeing any kind of angel wings or anything like that, but I just remember mainly seeing that very vibrant colors, and so that definitely wasn't him. And the most recent one I had was I was in the sky. You could see other little cities in the sky next to you, which I believe was the first heaven because you can see all the clouds, but you can look down. Here's the crazy part: you're so high up, but you can look down and see everything. You can see somebody on their cell phone. You can see somebody eating. You can see somebody sleeping. You can see everything. And my family was up there, and we were playing a board game or something. And I could just see it was just so interesting to see other cities in the sky, and you could look down and see the world. And there was a strong feeling of, man, I don't want to go down there. I don't want to go down there. So I've heard people say they were in heaven and they were talking to Jesus or something, and they didn't want to go back. I agree. I didn't see Jesus. Oh, I don't think I did. I didn't see. I'm not gonna lie and say I saw him, but I saw peace. I saw true peace. I saw there was no hate. You could feel it. There was no hate, no separation, no politics. Just everyone was in pure joy and happiness, and that's only something Christ can give you. So those are my two heaven experiences.
Powerful.
I wish there were more detail. I could tell you more, but that's the most I can tell you.
Well, appreciate you, Ray, taking the time to schedule these. Man, once you experience something like that, you can't walk away unchanged, right? You just can't.
Absolutely not. You live differently because there's consequences. That's why I feel like you have a very good point, sir. I feel like your name was in the book of life before you were born, or it wasn't. You see what I'm saying? It's just there's certain people who they can have 100 NDEs, 100 paralysis, and they can see all these things that Christ wants to show you in the spirit world. And you talk to somebody and they're like, man, I had a nightmare last night. And they go on with being a rebellious little child and living the way they want to live.
Unchanged.
Unchanged. Yeah.
I used to work in a hospital. I used to pass trays back in the day. And, when you work around death all the time, it changes you. You start looking at life totally different, And doing these interviews, I take 6 phone calls every single day. Plus, like today, I have 6 phone calls plus 1 long form interview, a couple hours. And so, I don't know, like 4 or 5 hours of my day is on the phone, listening to people's encounters. And when you listen to all of this, I've probably talked to 2,000 people at this point since I started 11 months ago. And man, it becomes so real. You realize that this life is just a moment. Like it will pass by so quick. You talk to older people, they say this all the time. It's like, man, it feels like it went like this. It flew by. And man, what a shame if we build our kingdom here and don't take the time to get to know our Creator, don't have that relationship with Jesus. And that's every single day I think about that. How do I get closer to Jesus? How do I live rooted and grounded in love in Him? And it's a process. It's a journey. It takes time. But man, that should be, first seek the kingdom of God, His righteousness, and everything else should be secondary, Well, Ray, thank you so much for sharing. Appreciate it. Powerful stuff, man. We'll stay in touch. Sounds good?
Amen. Yes, sir, brother.
Take care. God bless.
Hey, if this story moved you, there's definitely more. Every day, someone new shares their supernatural encounter with Jesus. So hit subscribe and don't miss what's coming up next. And if you're ready for another powerful testimony, tap the next video on your screen right now, and I'll see you there.